Okay, so this is pretty bad. Anything I try to do here, so the idea is you're going to cut my throat or something, right? Or pull it back or something like that. So what do you want me to do?
Give me your money.
Okay, boom, it's there on the floor.
I know.
You got me.
Pick it up.
Okay, all right, man. I'm afraid you're going to cut me. All right, here it is. There you go. Okay, great. Now, if you wanted me to do something that would actually make me fight, do something. Right? So now you say, like, get in the van or something.
Get in the van.
Okay, which van, man?
That one right there.
Okay, that one over there?
Yes.
All right, easy, man. You're like almost gonna. Now, look what happened here. I basically stuck my finger in between the blade and this. That sucks. So I better be fucking messing him up right away. All right? And seriously, sometimes that's all you might have. Carl Sestari actually taught for anything. Put the knife against my throat for anything, like any direction. Right? He actually taught grabbing the blade for literally anything. Okay? Will it cut your hands up? Yeah. And basically his solution was grow some fucking balls and kill him anyway. Alright? No, that's seriously what it was. Ideal solution? No. But it may be all you have in some situations. So it better be worth it. Okay? So that's a good position. Any other positions in particular? I know you had the classic forward break behind the neck thing. Alright? This is one where sometimes a little bit of knowledge can work. If you check this out, oh, you're already cutting me.
Okay. Steve was like grabbing my hair.
Okay, go grab my hair. I think there's an object lesson. Come on, I grab my hair. Harder. All right. One thing you could actually do that has worked, can't guarantee it, is as I drop. All right. If you notice the chin to the shoulder. It's basically a front reaction. Cut my neck. A little harder. Don't count on it all day. But obviously you can't really get anything else in between. So just grab it as hard as you freaking can, and depending on what you feel, you might need two hands. You might be able to jackhammer them there, right? If you have to use two hands, boom, you might have to headbutt, knee, whatever. If you're able to, like, you know, if I feel the handle right here, boom, and then continue, then that might be what you have to do. So, did you see what that was in terms of the basically shoulder and chin? Try not to let this go free. Try to grip it with the chin. That's better. All right. Now I have a little. Could I just get loose and just do this? Yeah. Hope he doesn't do that right away. And hope that as you drop and do everything at once, boom. Yeah. Good. Try to control this. Good. Yeah. Right. Oh, and by the way, when I say like control this or keep a hand on it, the idea is not that you hold it on me somewhere, right? And if I like, oh man, what do you want to do?
You're ready.
I'm going to give it to you and we're not going to get any more of the dumb
Get in the van.
Alright, so it's on my boom, boom. Right, when I say to like keep a hand on this, I'm not thinking that I'm going to be able to like control this. Cut me with this, please. I'll just bring it back and cut me. Okay, but what I can do, from my contact flow, bring it back and cut me again. Try to get it out of my hand, move it around. Right? This is something you could conceivably do, at least temporarily. If I have just like a hand on this, and he starts moving it to cut me or whatever, right? Or he tries to pull it back or whatever, whoa! You notice how I can move my whole body with it, okay? Or if he has a gun. All right? So if he has a gun, and I like, whoa, bam, right, whoa! Okay? I'm not trying to wrestle and control his body. But what I can do is as he tries to pull it to bring it back on target, notice how I can move my whole body with it. While I headbutt, while I knee. Okay, so you're following, okay? Just like if we were doing contact flow, and he's like trying to pull his hand back to punch me or something. Okay. My whole body follows in, right? And I continue. Well, if he has this, right?
I got it.
Now, there you go.
He's the most polite tackler.
That was very much confusing.
Yeah, we were. I was told everyone to have
knife, right? So basically something like this, right? And I may be okay? And he hit me in the balls while I did that, which is realistic. So I better keep going. And now if he tries to like bring this back to cut me or something, whoa! See how I'm following? I'm not trying to hold. If I try to hold this in place, please rip it out of my hand. Very easy. Exactly, right? Rip it out of my hand now. Right? Take it out of your hand. Right? I'm just sticking. I'm moving my whole body with it. Remember before how I was saying when hitting, you're moving the whole body? When holding or following or preventing something from going into you, You're moving the whole body with it. Okay, makes sense? If you somehow get in any sort of situation, like, I don't know, like this or something, right? Where, just so everyone can see. Where, by the way, this isn't me holding it, this is basically sealing my arm to my chest, and just this gets caught in the middle. If he tries to rip this out, and I'm just trying to hold it solid, forget it. If he's trying to rip this out, and I move my whole body with it, different thing. And at the same time, bam, I'm doing whatever I can with everything else. It's hard to come up with, okay? Yeah, sorry. So, you get the idea with that? Alright, so we're actually, unless you guys want to work this a little bit more, I mean, you get the basic drill, you get like various positions, and you like quickly figure out ways out of them. But again, what will make you better at doing that is not just practicing it over and over and over again to no end, but it's more contact. So you do this like from time to time. In between you do more contact flow, and hopefully it'll make you more adaptable and more able to do the ingredients, which is, oh, and by the way, some other things that I saw some people doing. You're holding this to me somewhere, right? Well, that's a different thing. I can't actually explain it. Anyways, where's the knife? Where's the gun? Here. the real gun. All right. I saw some people doing stuff like this. They would go like this. Okay. Anything you do, and kind of the reason for the drop, needs to be done without any preparatory motion. Because maybe just going like this will just make him fucking shoot you, or just going like this. Like if you can like, oh man, please, boom, right? Maybe that could work. But if you know, wherever I am, if it's from here, this needs to come directly from here. If it's down here and I need to do it from here, it needs to come directly from there, however I can do it, and the rest is gravy. A couple ideas to work with. If you happen to get in some situation where you feel like you might be able to break a limb or something, do not try to do it the traditional way, like your hands against his hands, because if he's strong, it'll be a wrestling match. If I get to here, boom, maybe I've hit him. From here, I'm not going to try to break his elbow. I am going to drop in this position. I'm going to get this close to my body and drop all the way through that. Fast enough that this shit will just come off. You see the difference? You never want to get into like a hand wrestling match. You know, yeah, you say whatever you want. Okay, I have advanced Aikido Jiu-Jitsu. I practiced it a million times. You try to do it like this, it's still strength on strength. Okay? So instead, I seal it to myself my entire, if I wanted to do like this one, for example, okay? I'm not going to try to turn his hands around. I am going to seal it to the center of my body, hopefully not point at the center of my body, and basically drop, totally reversing my position. Make sense? Again, and this isn't something you necessarily need to practice all the time. It's not even something I recommend necessarily, because again, you don't want to be in any way wrestling. I mean, you want to, if possible, boom, be like lighting him up and using your drop for that. All I'm saying is any sort of grappling-ish or breaking-ish stuff, if it comes up, I'm not saying go for it, but if it comes up, use your whole body by dropping through the limb. Make sense? Same deal if you have a knife or something and whoa! I'm not standing here doing this, okay? I am bringing this to myself, boom, as I drop, bam, whatever it's going to be, okay? Just an idea. Oh shit, you're so bad. Sorry, please feel free to tell me. Alright, so any questions about that? I don't think we need to do that kind of drill a million times, but just some things to think about. Again, I showed you like if it's the gun to your head thing. By the way, if he does have me pulled all the way off balance, well, I mean, I really wouldn't want to try anything from here, because I can't really drop from here. Oh, and by the way, Michael likes, Master Michael up north, he likes to do the demonstration where, people will say to get a choke off you, or from this situation, you like drop, and that and like the power of the drop will like get his hand off you, even without the gun. He just does it from the choke, and basically like most people, like their drop ends up just like basically levitating from his arm because it's strong enough to just hold you up there if you're any normal person. So you hope that someone like that never gets you. So yeah, and so that one, and just things to bear in mind. If there's any preparatory motion, it's probably bad. If there's any like, anything like this, just make sure you go slow if you're going to be like hitting it right into his face. But that can be good. And again, if I come here, boom! Don't do this full power. It'll fuck up his arm and elbow. And whatever else. So you get the general idea.
And you're always getting him to talk or think about something. You're always asking him a question or getting him to talk if you can.
I wouldn't say always, because you never know the situation. If it's a matter of, We're in the restaurant, guy comes in, boom, boom, boom. You can safely assume you're probably next. And if you can't immediately get behind cover, you might need to do something. And you just go for it. Okay, so now Steve wanted to do some of the dynamic knife stuff, or at least more dynamic. So a few basic things. Anyone good at knife disarms? Anyone good at controlling people's arms? Okay.
I heard.
No.
No, don't worry. This isn't painful. All right, just control my arm. All right.
Come on,
All right.
use your BJJ.
Yeah, just like grab it 2-on-1, whatever. I see it on videos on YouTube all the time. People are doing 2-on-1s, and you know, you grab a knife and they're getting like this, and they're able to control it. He sometimes even has like a boxing glove on the other hand. He's like going like this, very half-hearted effort, right? Grab it. Or even grab it and knee me. All right? And just grab it out of the air, whatever. Ooh, let me cut myself. All right? You get the idea. Okay? I could just be like, hey, stay away from me! Right? And it's difficult. Okay? Don't think that this is anything good. All right, so basically, what John has found, a couple things. People naturally respond to like knife attacks, like someone trying to stab. And again, by the way, how do you avoid someone just like coming and stabbing up with a knife? You know, awareness. So if you see someone, it all triggers your spidey sense. Stay the hell away. Fortunately, this doesn't hurt you if the arms reach. Try throwing it, but it probably won't hurt you much. And again, don't sleep with other people's spouses and stay out of Latino gangs or something. What John has noticed is people tend to react to knife attacks in a few different ways. A lot of them just kind of curl up fetal and just wait for it to end one way or another. Probably not the most reliable way of going. Although again, even so, only like maybe 10% fatality rate. Although I think that's probably more likely. The guy actually wants to kill you because you're basically giving him every chance. And the other way that people react generally is basically going nuts. There was generally what you find in like court cases of knife murders, they'll generally have, besides the whatever 4 or 5 fatal wounds, they'll also have maybe 5, literally 10 times that number of what they call legally defensive wounds, which are generally like general wounds to the arms and limbs and that sort of thing. The reason for that is generally people who do not freeze up under attack will generally do stuff like try to swat just come and stab me up. Just like try to swat the knife away. Like instinctively try to keep this away from their vital organs. Right. Okay, that's how they get lots of these things. Or they might try to you're stabbing me up. They might try to cover up, try not to let it get in. So between these two things, kind of wildly swatting it away and trying to cover themselves, they generally get a lot of shit here, but eventually stuff gets into the stuff that bleeds, right? Another thing John saw with some frequency is people just going really nuts and using everything to just keep this thing away from their vital organs instinctively. Brief story is one of his cases, a little guy working one of those newspaper stands in the subway, very much like New York. He's basically they have as much space inside him as basically this, right? And he sells newspapers, candy, whatever. And so I forget the exact situation. I think it was something like this guy had not paid his dues to whatever enforcers or whatever. And so anyway, these two much bigger guys with knives came to kill him. And they basically just opened the door, walked right in, and both started trying to stab him up. This guy, who was much smaller, oh, and by the way, some people claim only smaller, weaker, or non-confident people will attack you with knives. Yeah, unless you get 2 big bruisers like this who do it for a living. So can't always count on people being smaller. Whatever. So anyway, these 2 guys came in to kill him, and this guy basically went nuts. He was he bashed himself back against the other edge of the stand, was kicking them, trying to kick them. He was throwing shit at them. He was actually running up the walls, flashes. He was going nuts. And this evidently, from the reconstruction that John did, went on for a good long while, over a minute. That is a good long while in the context of 2 guys trying to stab you up. And everything happened. He managed to kick the knife into one of the guy's legs. They found the blood of all 3 of them on the scene. So this guy was getting his licks in, and it was they dropped the knife, picked it back up, all this stuff happened. Unfortunately, they eventually killed the guy because it was two experienced guys, freaking like knifing this like untrained little guy. But he did put up a good fight. John was able to observe that he naturally, did everything he could to keep the guy's knives away from his vitals. Eventually, by the way, they cut the guys because one of them, they actually had perfect sneaker prints in blood leading away from the crime scene. And one of the guys thought he would be clever, that he could just wash the blood off, but then put the sneaker right back in his closet. Just a little note, they can still find the blood if you like wash it off. Anyways, unfortunately, we get the guys. But so basically, a lot of the tactics we teach, that hopefully give you a better chance, are kind of based on what John has observed to be those kind of natural responses. A big difference is people who are responding naturally like that rarely actually do anything that actually disables the guys who were trying to kill them. Even in this case where the guy like kicked the knife into the other guy's leg, yeah, that probably hurt, but it didn't stop him. Okay? So basically our version of just instinctively swatting shit away is called the dog dig. And basically what it is, if something's coming at you, you're going to instinctively pull away whatever is being targeted and basically roll your hands like this. You'll do this. You basically want to be using kind of the edges of your forearms and hands like this, and really pull your stomach back and like this. So basically, if Doug was trying to stab me up, right? Just keep trying to stab me up. Alright? So if you notice what I'm doing, this is one context of using it. And again, think about when this would be used. Most likely, based on what people report who attempted assassination with knives, most likely if I let him get this close, it's probably going to be in me before anything else happens, unless he's really clumsy or stupid or something. So the idea is, if he's already stabbing me up, if I just try to turn and run, he's going to get in a lot of stabs before I create any distance, and I'm probably never going to create that distance. However, if I first start accelerating backwards like this, and turn while dropping into him, I have a much better chance of actually gaining some separation and being able to escape with minimal wounds. Alright? So again, bear in mind, this is not the magical anti-knife technique. This is how to hopefully get punctured less while getting away. Okay, that's the basic way that it's taught. So now, just so you know, the two times that I know of where it's been used for real, in one case it was in Afghanistan, a Marine who was off duty, like just came out of a restaurant or something, and he's walking outside, and some guy comes and tries to knife him. And basically, as soon as he started doing the dog dig, the guy basically just went down. The guy was so committed to stabbing him that the Marines dropped and hits. Basically, the guy fell flat on his face, and the Marine proceeded to do with his boots what Marines do best. Okay, so that was one case, and in another case, I forget the context, but basically the dog dig was used, and the guy immediately dropped the knife. The person was able to get away. Don't count on those things happening, but with a little practice, and again, with well-developed dropping and hitting, plus adrenaline, you're able to, if he's stabbing me up, shit, right? You're able to basically do that relatively hard, and hopefully get away, all right? Failing that, if you're not able to get away, say you're cornered or walled, hang up on anything, right? So let's say it's this kind of situation, and I wasn't able to do any kicking. We'll go over in a second. And especially if let's say he already has it in me, he's like jamming me back, he's stabbing me up. If you notice how this can be used, is basically kind of, I don't want to say climbing his arm because that's not necessarily what's going to happen, but it's often what happens when I demonstrate it. But it's basically, I'm using the dog to keep myself protected while also attacking him. Okay, you notice how he's still stabbing me in the thigh. Shit's going to happen. It is not, I can see it. If he was like stabbing me high or something like that, same concept, right? We are not going, here it comes, intercept, control, whatever. No, again, when this shit's coming, it's unlikely, even with a lot of skill, that you're going to be able to like intercept it and flow with it, as you've maybe seen in some other demonstrations of other stuff, which I don't know, might work, but not very against you. So basically, whatever, assuming I can't get away, whatever he's doing that, right? I'm just using this idea to keep this away from my vital organs as much as I can, while also attacking at the same time. Okay? Am I thinking that this is going to work perfectly for a long time? No, unless he drops the knife and falls down. If I'm lucky like those little people, right? No. And also, am I thinking that one shot here will stop him? No. That's why I have to keep going. Again, if I can get away, then I might want to do that. If I'm cornered and I can't get away. You notice I have a hand here. Am I counting on this to stop him from moving the blade? No. But if he does move the blade, I'm going to be able to feel it. If I've done some good contact flow, the more of it I've done, the better I'll feel that, right? I want to keep some weight on it. Again, similarly, if he has a knife and I manage to like hit him away, that could be a good thing. If he had a gun, that might not be such a good thing. All right, so again, my only idea that he has a knife might be, oh fuck, right? So then you just got to go. Okay? All right?
Yep.
Okay. This can be, it's good you have a sweatshirt. This can sometimes be hard on your arms to practice a lot. Might want to use forearm guards if you want to do it more than a couple times in the session. So those are the basic ways to do the drill. You basically start with this, or it starts with him like close and he's like suddenly pulling the knife. Whoa, whoa! And I just use it to accelerate back and get away. Or if I am cornered, just use it. Just get something and attack. Again, what's the key part of all those examples I was talking about that John had? People might have been successfully swatting or getting away for a while, but they never did anything that could stop the guy. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to be able to control or do much about this. Boom! You have to stop the person who's stabbing you from stabbing you. Make sense? All right. So that's the dog day. And the other thing that we teach is the basic kicking stuff. You need to have a good, and a lot of people go, oh, if you try to kick, you might fall down or cut the leg or whatever. All right, first of all, if we're having a knife fight, do you ever do this? I hope not. Okay? If a guy has a knife and he's that far away, please, instead of spending your time taking out your own, like, please try to figure out some way out of there, or something to fucking throw at him, or, you know, if you can get a chair, that's probably better than a knife. Right? Unless you have a freaking like, rapier and you're really good at fencing, I don't know. Even so, I might totally rapier and it'll come all the way down the sword. Oh, I'm still getting it. It's happened many times. All right? So, the Japanese prefer cutting heads off and limbs and shit. If you miss, all right? And no one carries containers usually. But basically, yes, if we're knife sparring like this and he goes to kick me, oh yeah, okay, yeah, if I'm like in that frame of mind, maybe. Most people, when they go to freaking kill you, it's a very singular offensive mindset, most of the time. So when he's like jumping on me to kill me, right, that's kind of the idea. If you can really lay into him with very good on-balance kicks to the lower body, jumping about that, right, just got something like that. Could work, no guarantee. But the idea, oh, if you stick your leg out, he's just going to cut it off. Not if he's like concentrating on sinking that shit into your torso or face or something. Okay? You'll hopefully have at least a moment. And again, even if your balance isn't as good as it could be, if you could put your hand on something solid, like a wall, or if you're in the elevator or something and your back's to a wall, this gives you a shitload of added balance and power. Boom! Right? If you're on a plane and you can like, or a bus or something, and you can like kind of leverage off the seats, anything that can give your body a little extra balance can do a lot of good things for your kicking. Okay? Generally when you're kicking, ideally you go with like the parallel leg to his arm, so that if this does come down, it's less likely to get your femoral artery on the inside of the leg, as opposed to if it were here. But if you have enough time to calculate that, then I have enough time to do something better, like get out of there. Alright? So you never know. But again, the idea is simple. Instead of thinking that you're going to very coolly let the knife in and then do whatever takedown or whatever. Again, what does your body naturally tend to want to, or what do most people's bodies naturally tend to want to do if they know that a knife is in play? They want it out of there. Or, alright, again, that's the instinct we're working with. If you think you could train yourself well enough that you can be very cool like this, working on the flat edge of the blade, which of course you'll know where it is, even if you don't even know the knife is there, and that kind of stuff, power to you. I mean, again, this is no guarantee, I'm not downplaying anything else. But basically, I know there's a laser. Boom! I can try to stay out of range by doing that, and that's good. Be aware. Stick that out, please. Stick it all the way out, full range of your arm. Much less of a difference, right? Generally, if you're kicking, if you can get your other arm here, kind of, that could be good. But again, you never know. So you've probably seen the basic kicking exercises online, where one guy has this, and you just basically try to come in, and you need to like kick to keep him away. The basic skill, in order to do it freestanding, is you need to be able to kick. Now you need to stop me. See how you're going down with it? Here's what I mean. If you're coming towards me, I need to be able to notice how. Not quite. Notice how I'm able to generally keep my balance so that instead of this or this, you just keep coming forward. Instead of this, see how I keep coming forward? Basically, I need to have the balance to be able to do that. Okay? Guided class kicking is kind of a thing in itself. Basically, you want to learn to do it the same way you throw strikes with your arms. The leg is relaxed and loose. The key is the balance here and the drop. Okay? And the way you practice it, you don't even need like knives and stuff to practice. Basically, he comes towards me, and I need to basically stop him. It's a matter of accuracy and balance. Okay? I can't be falling backwards. Likewise, I can't be leaning forwards. Okay? Most martial artists, when they kick, they're throwing their balance into the kick, and they're going to be falling out of it, which is very bad. Okay, if you're dealing with a knife especially. Okay, so basically, basic balance exercises, and the basic kicking exercises, is what you need. And again, having your hand on something, if it's another person, okay, very good. And even mentally, just having your hand on something creates like a greater sense of security in your balance, and will make your kick much more powerful and effective. You want to drill this? Or just...
I was thinking, would you mind question on ground? Yeah. So just a little bit on ground, maybe do like...
Okay, so...
I don't want Doug to be crying later on. He's going to send me scathing emails.
Okay, do you mean ground in general or ground versus weapons?
One thing I like to see is like anti-mount versus, what were you thinking?
I wasn't thinking really.
Because we do a lot of the, we've already done a lot of the rolling kind of stuff.
Okay,
Like
I will just touch very quickly on ground fighting as it pertains to weapons. If he has a blade, I'm not going to say in the corner and I can't get away. Carlson Mario is alive. He, just so you know his story, he was a police officer in New Jersey until he went to jail for manslaughter with some of the people that he jailed. So in the 70s, so you know what kind of cop people's buddies were. It was a different time, there were no cell phone cameras. When they were first issued, the pepper sprays, they actually had alcohol-based propellants. And so then Carlin, or some of his buddies, he said, discovered that, alcohol-based propellant. I like the stun guns. If you hose a guy down, you give him custody, and then you stun gun him, interesting stuff happens. Anyways, so then Carl went to jail with a lot of the shitbags that he had helped lock up or possibly push. So in his words, the only defense he had seen work against a planned prison hit, we're talking multiple experienced guys with improvised stabbing weapons who generally will try to corner you, hold you still, and then just like pin cushion you all at once, or like have one guy hold you, or two guys hold you still while the other guys pin cushion you. The only thing he had seen work was to launch yourself into the corner, go down to the ground on your back or on your side, and kick out like hell until the hat's and mats arrived. Right? In other words, if you could get into a corner or against a wall or something, go to the ground, and then all those guys who were approaching with knives, bam, 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 just kick out like hell until hopefully the guards, who hopefully weren't bribed to let this happen, arrive. So that's something to bear in mind. So a lot of people say, oh, ground fighting against a knife, that's bullshit. Well, there is some precedence for it. Again, in John's experience, he saw many people who did kick from the ground, even with no training, and acquitted themselves pretty well. They didn't necessarily win all the time, but again, they were able to prolong the inevitable in a great way. And again, the common thread is, just because you're kicking wildly at someone doesn't mean you're actually damaging them. So what you want to make sure you do in your ground fighting training is that you are really training how to damage someone very well. Not just go to the ground and kick like crazy, but apply the same sensitivity and knowledge of the body that you do standing up. So, good in that regard. Transitioning to ground fighting. So you guys have done the basic exercises that basically they're intended to enable you to apply the basic principles on the ground. You're working your balance, you're working your looseness, this is what you should be doing. You're working your proprioception, you're working your musculature just to get comfortable doing all this stuff on the ground with absolutely minimal effort. That's one part that a lot of people miss. Right? The idea is that, and not that it's just supposed to be an ab workout, but basically I should be able to do all of this. You know, someone's coming to kick me in the head. Right? Basically, I want to be as mobile and disconnected as possible. Whatever. Right? So you get the idea, and also to develop what John calls an internal gyroscope, like the knowledge of where you are in space, and the ability to see everyone coming. And to be able to do all that without using your hands, you can use your hands to access weapons and stuff like that. So those basic exercises kind of give you the ability to do that. Then from there, you want to do contact flow stuff on the ground to start gaining some sensitivity. So for example, if we're here and I want to stop him or something, this is a great example. He's nice and strong on that leg. If I just kind of push on his leg, be real strong. No, don't be real strong. You see this in like old jiu-jitsu classes all the time, right? They say, hook the leg here and break his knee. And then inevitably, like the smaller woman in the class will be like, Sensei, it's not working. Oh, you must practice harder. All right? Maybe that's not the issue. Maybe the issue is that she doesn't have the sensitivity to feel where she can actually move to do the best result. All right? So, in other words, you have good news, right? Yeah. So far.
You did.
If I just kind of push and pull on his bone when he's like nice and strong there, I'll be here all day. Instead, if I just kind of feel where he's weak, all right, just a little change in direction, and it should never really take you much more energy than like the weight of your leg. And then, you know, feel what you can break here, feel what you can kick, and also in terms of your kicking, thanks, you can put it there. In terms of your kicking, I'm not trying to be strong. I'm trying to use my balance, looseness, body gain, sensitivity. Right? It's very loose. And someone just get a kicking shield. All right, so just hold it on the ground, but just hold it on the top, just like this. Okay. Yeah. Right. So, right, if I'm just here, okay, this can get pretty nasty. Also, normally I do it with steel toe shoes, but right, if I'm just coming here, okay, just basically using my whole body and using my legs very loosely. Okay, it's not pull it firmly. No. You get the idea? So, lose the shield, please. If it's his legs I'm dealing with, you know, Josh's legs are in good shape. Obviously, they were in the last lecture. You're trying to step on me or whatever. Okay. It's very easy. Okay? You alright? Yeah. Continue. Go on. And you can keep playing if you want. I'm trying to say Alright, so basically, with all the guy chaos ground fighting, the idea is not to become engaged, is to stay as disengaged as you can while doling out maximum punishment. So if I've got the basic idea behind, generally behind grappling, is to stay engaged, and kind of learn to use your body weight and take away space in order to maintain control of the other person and get to a submission, right? Right? So instead of engaging here, the idea is if he wants to engage with me or put me down or something, I want to basically say as loose as I can, right? And just basically I'm doing contact flow, right? Okay, I don't want to get all engaged. Right? If I can, I use my legs because they're big and strong, and if they have steel toe shoes on, then they work very well. You know, and so anything he wants to do to me, I just need to stay loose. Suck it in. Right? Right? Just whatever it's going to be. You're just doing the same thing.
Steve should volunteer.
The same
He does such a great job.
The same stuff I would do up here, right? If I would deal with someone who's trying to grapple me or take me down or something. Same way I do with everything else. Don't let it happen in the first place. Okay? If I can maintain my balance, looseness, sensitivity, body unity, freedom of motion, you know, we saw what happened before. Anything he tries to do. All I'm really doing is changing my route and saying, if I try to struggle against him, okay. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. Unless I'm better at okay? If instead, whatever. If I don't give him anything really to leverage against in terms of my body weight and balance. And of course, this is being nice with it. Right?
Exactly.
You get the idea. Done a little bit differently. You just do exactly what you would do with anyone else. You cannot wait to say, oh, to do grapple or to do whatever. What do you learn? Sphere of influence. If he's a person, he's moving. If in the middle of that he manages to like dodge these and shoot for my leg or something, he's got to move with it. Right? That's why I was saying this. I think you during contact flow. If during contact flow his level starts to go down, and I stay very high like this, bad. Alright, so what you can do in contact flow for this kind of thing, as we're flowing, if his level starts to change, you notice I'm just moving with him. You're just like trying to shoot or whatever. I mean, generally what you guys try to do when they shoot, they want to get your hands out of the way briefly and get down there. If my hands are tight, it's easy to get them out of the way. And he controls my whole body through my tight arms. If I maintain my looseness, he tries to get my arms out of the way. I'm able to feel it, keep moving, and whatever. The point is to keep moving. Even if my hands aren't involved and he's shooting for my legs, if I'm able to drop and change my position, right? Right? Won't work all day. That's why you need your hands, but you get the idea. It's difficult to just land you on your act. The reason why most grapplers are able to do that so easily, because they tend to overextend. Now they're totally on the balance, right? By the way, if you do get taken down, you notice what happens here. You bring your knee up as quick as you can, okay? And then whatever else happens, I don't know what you would try to do next. You just go. Bam. Okay? What often happens, if you really bring your knee up as fast as you get, by the way, hopefully in your ground pounding exercises, it's included going down and coming back up to make sure you get down nice and soft. No break falls, no hard, heavy noises from your bones, right? You try to go down soft. But if he is taking you down, you want to basically get your knees up as soon as possible. It helps if you burn it, right? A lot of the time, it actually does go into their chin. But even if it doesn't, once you're here, you have to stay. I can't do this, all right? If I'm like reaching stiffly or trying to leverage him off, I'm gone. If I'm loose, basically, these are all little drops. Right? Once, this is hard. Slam his head into it, usually a good thing. Okay, if I were to shoot by my man, whatever. He tries to do stuff to the legs. Okay? Again, if I try to wrestle with him, to try to leverage the leg stuff, he's better at it. He'll win. Okay? So, boom! Okay? You gotta maintain your freedom of motion. Do not let him take it away. Does this make any sense? Okay, so in your contact flow, to avoid getting taken down, at any speed you're going, if he's dropping his level, basically he's probably not going to shoot if you just move with him well, if he's smart, right? What you don't want to do, if he's shooting in slowly, is try to leverage or sprawl against him. Alright? So he knows how to do it. What is sprawling? It's committing your balance. So if you notice, as he's shooting, I'm changing, but I'm still here. It's my own balance. If possible, I might even move into him, right? I mean, if he's like just shooting at me from out there, That's what I'd be doing anyway, because he's just a person closing the distance. I don't know if he's shooting me, and I don't know if he's hitting me, right? I mean, it's even possible. I mean, guys say you can't do it, but if he's like shooting at me, boom, bam. Yeah, if I'm aware of my own balance, that might work. Even if he does grab my leg or something, bam, right? If I drop here, okay, he needs to be able to lift several times my weight, as long as I'm staying loose. Now, he might be big and strong, and maybe he could. I'm also hitting him. All right, and again, what doesn't work, start to shoot on me, get me a little off balance. What you saw, like, no, it's fine. What you saw in the first few UFCs. Or like, you grab my legs, don't take me down yet. Oh, now I'm gonna knee him. No, you're not. He's controlling your balance. I'm gonna freaking knee. Oh, I'm gonna knee him with the other leg. Yeah, good luck. Okay? But if I can drop and change my weight, ideally before it happens in the first place, then that's how that works. The answer like to the mount or whatever is don't let that shit happen in the first place, because here's the thing. Even if a guy wants to take you down from behind, again, that situation John had to deal with, or potentially had to deal with, like someone distracted, then he tries to, oh, well, that's pretty easy. I meant like from the ankles.
Oh, from me.
Yeah, so if he's like taking me down from the ankles, you notice the drop. All right?
Yeah.
You can only do this with guys who are in pretty good shape. Be careful when you do. So slow motion, basically just dropping with my tailbone into whatever I feel. Right? And just as soon as possible, boom, moving. But ideally, don't let it happen in the first place. see him coming and do something about it. You know, similar thing if like, and it could happen, it could be like fighting some other guy, and then he's coming from the side to like wrap me up, take me down, right? Whatever it's gonna be. Whatever it's going to be. The main thing, of course. The main thing is being able to stay loose, keep control of your own balance, change your weight effectively. When I say change my weight, it's just change where I'm standing. Slow motion, he's going to take me down right here. And I change my weight over here. He needs to readjust. Starts to readjust. I readjust. Starts to readjust. Whatever it's going to be. But this, I'm not saying this is easy when he's going up really fast. But as you increase your sensitivity, right? Whatever it's going to be. So as we're doing just contact flow, again, deal with this. If he wants to clinch up with me, I mean, not everyone shoots, right? So, I mean, clinching you deal with like anything else. Don't let it happen first. If I try to clinch back at him, well, whoever's better at this game, and whoever's bigger in the center, right? So if he's trying to clinch me, again, the whatchamacallit, disengagement principle, right? Wherever he tries to control or apply pressure, just not allowing that to happen. If you get sick of this game and suddenly shoots low really fast, it's only really fast if I can't go with him, right? You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how fast he does it if I can feel it. Remember, gravity helps. So if he's suddenly changing his level, I can basically drop my body at least as fast as he can do that, right? Even if he's heavier. Terminal velocity, no. Come on, science. All right.
I don't think you have time to reach terminal velocity, but
Sorry?
Sonic boom.
you don't have time to reach terminal velocity in this amount of distance. But
Well, the point is, we'll
your point
probably
is
both,
well taken.
gravity
Yes.
will be taking us both at around
At
the
the
same
same
speed.
rate.
Also, I mean, well, yeah, he's loose enough where when I drop, he's just, the body's going with me, so he doesn't even have to think about it,
Right.
pretty much.
Yeah, no, you.
I mean, I won't be able to.
Yeah.
I mean, brief story. First time John met Tony Gagliano, this is a guy, black belt under Henzo Gracie, but did most of his training under Hickson. Kind of classmate of Matt Serra. Basically, in Tony's words, Matt was better technical jiu-jitsu. Tony was just a better badass. He's a little older too. He like fought in like MMA stuff in Russia and other places before UFC and everything else. Crazy guy, very Yonkers, badass upbringing. Only about this tall, but roided up. Anyways, first time he met, so he's a big MMA fighter, and he like basically became independently wealthy early on and just used it to, you know, train with Hickson. Then he would train with Emelianenko, and like basically any guy that he looked up to, he would just go to train with. Sometimes he was in the corner for fights, that sort of thing. So his buddies kept telling him he should meet this guy John Perkins, and so this is later in life. Like, you know, Tony's in his 30s at this point, maybe late 30s. John's like whatever in his 40s and out of shape. So Tony's like, really? So John was like talking with him, and this is the way John narrated it. Suddenly Tony just vanished. And John was standing like this, and Tony was there, and as far as John was concerned, Tony just vanished. And suddenly John felt something on his ankle. And so he just instinctively dropped and did this. And he calls it the botchagaloop kick. I'm not sure what that means. Boom. And then he looked over, and Tony was flat unconscious on the ground. Basically, Tony had, fast as lightning while John was talking, gone for like a single leg over, and he turned around to the side, something like that. And basically, before his foot left the ground, John basically did this, and it turned out to be right into Tony's head. And Tony was laid out flat. Now, I do not recommend that as a good defense against a takedown, but you know what? John is sensitive and balanced enough that he actually was able to do it, right, even at an advanced age. Point being, you know, as you said, just moving with it and not cooperating. You know, if John had tried to well, probably what would have happened next if Tony actually got his leg out was all that training from years ago, John's ass right into Tony's head, and then Tony would have sucked. Because Tony is strong, but not strong enough to take all that weight, coming down like that. But anyways, it probably might have hurt John's knee, I don't know. What was the point of that story? I don't know, something you just said. So basically, yeah, do not think you're gonna counter grapple or see this happen or that happen. Best solution is don't let it happen in the first place. I mean, if anyone attacks you or you get in a competition with anyone, you want to walk away not knowing that he was heavyweight champion of the world, because you just stopped things before they got to that point. He wants to raise his hands in boxing. Sorry, jumping the gun here. All right, he wants
Who's the bully?
So we're just saying, man, I don't want any trouble. Boom! Right, bam, bam, bam. Oh, it turns out he was heavyweight champ. Well, he's not right down there. Okay, yeah. So don't let it happen in the first place. He's my old buddy Ryan Hall. You know, I don't know if you've seen the YouTube videos where he took down the guy in the pizza restaurant. Anyways, he used to train with me way back in the day before he discovered he was a natural jiu-jitsu. He really was. His third week, he was triangle instructor. But anyways, then he went on to become a real big champion. Anyways, very cool guy too, compared to most people in general. But yeah, so if there's Ryan Hall in front of me, I don't want to observe his skill. Oh yeah, size up your opponent, see how he moves, see what he's good at. No, by the time you know what he's good at, you're fucked. All right? It's oh look, he's good at you. Dude. Okay? Oh wow, before crack, he was a Golden Glove box. Right? No, but whatever he's gonna do, or whatever he and his friends are gonna do, it's do you have friends?
One or two.
Okay, so someone pretend to be his friend, please. Josh doesn't always.
No, he has no friends here.
So okay, so hey, we're getting in trouble, and it's this situation, and I know this is going bad, and I'm out of there. Oh shit, he was a jiu-jitsu champion. I never found out. All right. Okay, or he has me cornered somewhere. Hey man, I don't want any trouble. Really, I don't want any trouble. And he's a jiu-jitsu champion, but I don't think he's going to try to shoot on me when I'm not about to actually shoot him. Right? Whatever the situation is. Okay, so is that pretty clear to everyone?
Yeah.
So in terms of the mount or whatever else, don't let it fucking happen in the first place. Hypothetically, I get nailed from behind. Boom! I'm on the ground. And instead of just kicking my head and he decides he wants to show off on World Star Hip Hop or something. World Star! Okay, so should I try to push him off? Should I try to lever his hips up? Do you think any of this is going to work effectively, especially if he's a lot bigger than I am? Okay, so what did we go over before? Not leveraging, not trying to anything like that. Basically, even as he's trying to punch me. You alright?
Yeah. You don't want kids, right, Doug?
I didn't actually. Now, bear in mind, I didn't actually hit you.
No, I know.
Okay.
I got
a
little sense in them.
Alright, a couple little notes here.
You're a great Yuki, Doug.
Okay, depending on where he is.
Is that a tooth?
No. Piece of the apple that was stuck in the tooth.
I was hoping it was a tooth.
No.
Doug's tooth, even better.
I don't want to mess up the gym. Alright, so if he actually does kind of come down where I can do this, bam! If I can get him right in the throat, that's good. Please do not do this, because what he will probably try to do is or more, and that's no good. So, again, if I do anything stiffly or with power, he's got that. If I do anything like that, here, try to catch my arm. All right, and from here, boom! Try to use my legs, crack, boom, as soon as possible. So, Doug, what are you feeling when that happens? Some people don't understand.
Therapy.
No, it's definitely, it changes the mindset from the attacker to the attackee. Like, there's nothing I could do. Like, I was only worried about my own safety, and I didn't feel stable enough to even continue doing what I did.
Was I leveraging you off?
No.
Or was I basically just doing shit that made you kind of eject yourself?
Exactly. That was it. Well, yeah, I tried to get away from
Eject
his
yourself.
attack.
Everyone heard that clearly?
I tried to get away from his attack, and my hips lifted up, and use that too.
Right? Okay, a couple other notes. It's on the map. Again, don't let it fucking happen in the first place. If for some reason you can't get to his balls, again, looseness, I drop, I get underneath, and then, you're right.
Yep.
You basically, you create room for yourself to shoot your hand all the way under, and then you don't leverage, but you can on him, you start like drop hitting like that. Even if you can't get anything else, even if I, bam, right? Just, if I can't get into his throat, I'm just, oh, and I want to point something out here. Can someone get a hitting pad or something? Just because I don't want to do it to you. No, just like a tie pad or something. Or that, anything is fine. So put that like next to me here. Remember how we were talking about hitting with the skeleton? Just, no, hold up like that or something. Right, remember we were talking about hitting with the skeleton? If I try to, this isn't going to do much, right? Trying to like launch rockets from my arms. If I think of my whole skeleton. You see that? If his arm gets in the way. Okay? Again, I'm not trying to leverage him. Really set your weight. Right? All right? Yep. Okay? It's about, actually, no.
Okay.
I mean, I can just.
I know what you meant.
It's your turn
There's big key to all this, and I say this all the time, and you still see on seminars guys trying to teach people when we like do these positions. Forget any semblance of leverage, anything that will cause any tension. Anything that will cause any force on force, just don't do it. Don't look for the sneaky way out. Look for how you can just change the entire situation. Again, assuming it gets there. I mean, basically, someone else. Does anyone want to like, grapple from here, just from kneeling?
Sure. I mean, I'll
Like a little bit. Okay, so basically, he's trying to like take me down or put me on the ground. Okay, whatever. Okay, if I could just stay loose. Bam. Okay, and I want to get a little more. Whatever. So he's trying to do anything. All right, wherever he overcommits, I just use his balance, feel where it's going. Yeah. Right? Even this is like before even the hit. Again, in reality, you're trying to like, I don't know how you get in this situation. Just an example. Right? No, there's actually, back in the day, John used to call this like kneeling in the field or whatever. It was just basic contact here. And you just learn. Basically, what a lot of grapplers try to do right away is like try to like go in, like affect the balance and everything. What they do pretty quickly, when they're doing that, they learn that they probably don't want to. Right? Because you're just feeling everything and whatever. Okay? This is basically how to deal with that. And again, in reality, alright? You just try to get your legs in there as soon as possible. And again, you're just breaking shit. And from contact on the ground, if you notice, I'm not resisting. I'm just feeling, using my weight, and trying to get to the vitals. But again, that's not how you actually fight. That's to gain the relaxation, balance, and sensitivity so that anything that happens, bam! Your shoes basically just break everything. You get the idea? And again, any sort of like, if he's behind me or something, right? Instead of trying to like hip throw or something, alright? You're basically dropping. Whatever he's got, if I try to leverage here and he's stronger, Josh is actually pretty strong. Right? Right? So, you just gotta move. Any sort of standing grapple, right? He's trying to jump from it. Now realize this, if he's gonna grab me from behind, and I was so unaware of it that I couldn't stop it until now, he could have easily bricked me in the back of the head. Right? Alright? Yep. And now this is done not by saying elbow him when he does that. Because guess what? You can slowly. You start doing that. Why is it this thing? Can't do it because in order to make it happen, you need to be able to drop. while keeping my throat protected. Remember the thing we did with the knife? To protect my throat? Can you get my arms up? Eventually, yeah. But not like directly from here. So I have to drop spoon. You just got it. And again, in contact flow, you can sometimes do like long keech where you like to put yourself in various positions. And you can just, move back and whatever. And you're going to just grapple me from anywhere.
Yep.
Josh's turn. Or anyone else who wants to go, just so you feel like I get a feel already for where you want to. Am I trying to grapple? To deal with all of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, does anyone?
Ari, I know you're loving this and having a great time, but we do have a flight to catch, just to be aware.
Okay, but I just want to make sure, because I've just been kind of demonstrating, I'm not sure if everyone's going to attempt to do this. I mean, the main stuff
I'll go one-handed.
It's okay, I just think I wanted to kind of get a feel or...
Yeah, let me just go one-handed.
But basically, this is the kind of stuff, rather than saying, it's the same idea with the weapons. Instead of saying, let's practice 1,000,000 times against gun hold-up number 1, gun hold-up number 2, knife technique 1, knife technique 2, what helps you defeat a knife attack? Assuming you see it coming before it gets within range, getting really fucking good at kicking. Or running, if you have space, but if you're cornered, getting really good balance, really good at guided cast kicking, which again involves relaxation, balance, looseness, what do you need? Freedom of action. And good at the ground fighting, which you do from the exercises and contact on the ground, and really learning how to do it with minimal effort, even though it feels effortful at first. Really taking into account the disengagement principle and not like powering through things even if it's tempting. Likewise, to deal with grapplers or whatever, contact flow, don't get there in the first place, right? Any sort of contact, speeds, whatever. Alright, you can do this sometimes, like work different angles of contact flow, work from the back or from the side or from wherever, but it should all be basically the same thing. Right, and then I try to like grapple Steve or something. Sorry, that works. Yeah, and what eventually happens is that people get sick of grappling much because, it's just not in line with keeping yourself safe. Again, like the idea is that they can do it really fast and really deceptive, and you give them any like tension or off balance to work off of, they can do it because they train it all the time with real resistance. That's what we're supposed to be doing too, except instead of, we're basically training with real motion. It's not quote unquote competitive, but we're training with what some would call aliveness, but we're doing it with very different goals in mind. To stop giving all this tension, stop with the idea of control, and to rely more on disengagement and destruction versus control and submission. Because as we saw, when things get really violent, control is kind of an illusion. Anyway, do you want me to just burn out with everyone?
Do you have time?
I miss a slide or something.
Should be the longest seminar, that's all.
No, just like if people want like a couple minutes each.
Sure, yeah, let's go like 2 minutes each or something like that, or contact flow.
Yeah.